Great to have you with us. Now in our first story, the compilation of the new voter register has commenced this morning across the country. JoyNews checks as the Odododiodo Center reveals social distancing has been thrown to the dogs. As at 9:30 a.m., JoyNews' Maxwell Agbagba also observed that registration is yet to start. Right, we'll go to Maxwell very shortly, but Anna Sabit is standing by with some updates. Anna, tell us where you are and what the situation is there. Right, Anna spoke on the AM show. Let's take a listen to this. So those were scenes from the Bunu region where Anna Sabis brought us that report this morning. We'll go back to him for details, but Chief Executive of the National Identification Authority, Professor Ken Agyemang Atefa, has assured of issuing ID cards to every eligible voter to enable them write their names in the ongoing voter registration exercise. He urges people who have changed their residencies after registration to go back to where they registered and pick up their cards. Prof. Atefa spoke to Kojo Yankson on the Super Morning Show on Joy FM.
Exercise. What we found, twofold concerns. One, in the case of Ashanti region, for example, when we were doing the registration in Ashanti, it was Christmas season. So a lot of people had gone from Accra or wherever they were living to their hometowns in Ashanti region and had gone to register, taking advantage of low numbers there. Now they are in Accra, and the cards have been sent to the communities where you registered, and they could not go there. I had a situation, a report from Winneba, where it's a university town, largely an academic city, Cape Coast, same. So lots of students, Koforidua, lots of students who registered in, and teachers, university teachers and staff, who registered in Cape Coast and Koforidua and these cities, whenever they could not get their cards. And they are in their communities. Now, for those who will be there by the time the Electoral Commission gets to their community, the issuance will be done there because we'll be there. Right, there's a timetable that we have published about a mop-up exercise. As I speak with you, a mop-up of the mass registration exercise is underway in the Upper West and Upper East regions in order to shore up the numbers because we realized that registration figures were low. Now, all across the country, we're going to do mass registration mop-up. For most of those places, I think excluding Bono, Ahafo, and Bono East, and then Greater Accra and Ashanti, just about 2 or 3 days. For all the other regions, EC will be there, or NIA will be there, while EC registration is also there. So people can pick up their cards and do the needful.
Still on the voter registration, Maxwell Agbagba is standing by from the Odododiodo registration center. Maxwell, now we understand social distancing has been thrown to the dogs.
Well, Daniel, that is the case. And I have some persons I would want to speak to you here about an issue that is emerging here. But let me take you to the gate so we can see what exactly is happening outside. As it stands right now, the registration has not started. The registration, which was supposed to start at 7 a.m., has not started, and that was because there were some disagreements over the registration places, for the places of the registration, and he had to take the commander of the ministry's police station and then some other security personnel to resolve the matter between the aggrieved, concerned youth of Jamestown. We'll be trying to get some bit of clarity on that shortly, but just to give you an idea of what is happening here. So this is outside the main of the center. So you can see people lined up, you know, here in close proximity at this place, and we are told that they'll be made to wash their hands before they get inside. But because the registration itself delayed, that setup has not been done yet. And as you can see, some of the persons who are standing very close to each other are not wearing masks here. There's a man with a megaphone screaming and asking these people who have come here to register to ensure social distancing. But it looks like
social distance and they are here. Social distance.
Yeah, so trying to advise those who have come here to register to ensure the social distancing, but that is not happening. Few of the people we've seen here are wearing masks. In fact, earlier there were many of them who were not wearing masks, but some security personnel were deployed here after the disagreement, and when they came, they told them that if they do not register, if they do not wear their mask, they are not going to allow them, you know, to do the registration. So many of them had to go to their homes to get their before joining the queue. But for that, they wouldn't have been allowed, you know, to join the queue. But I just want you to, the camera technician, to pan so we can see some health personnel who have arrived on the ground. Some of them are already seated, and I've been trying to interact with some of them. They tell me that they'll be taking the body temperature of the people who've come here, you know, to register. Some of them are within the prisons of the registration center. Some of them are also now arriving. So let's take you inside. Let's go inside, back inside, and speak to some of the. But even as we walk, I want you to see what is happening here. The crowd of people who have gathered, you know, for hours. There's a woman here. There's a woman here who's been waiting since 7 a.m. Mommy, what's your name?
I'm Auntie Mavis.
Auntie Mavis, I know you're not feeling well. I mean, I can see your leg. Sorry, what happened to you?
I had an accident.
You had an accident?
Yeah.
Okay. And you came here to register?
Because I'm a Ghanaian, so I have to register.
So you've been waiting here for how many hours?
About 7 hours now. About 7 hours now.
That means what time did you come here?
4 a.m. Around that.
4 a.m. Your friends are not wearing their mask.
They are doing what?
I'm sure some of your friends are not wearing their face mask. I'm sure you are concerned about this.
Oh, I'm concerned, but I'm not too much concerned because they know they have to wear it. And if they are not wearing it, I don't know what to say.
Okay.
Because everybody's life is in his own hands. So it's up to them.
It's up to them.
Right, and that's Maxwell Agbagba speaking to a woman who has been waiting since 4 a.m. Let's go over to the Ashanti region and speak to Nana Senso Menta. Nana Senso, tell us what you've observed today.
Yeah, Daniel, so far we have made some rounds. We started monitoring from Malam Ladan, but currently we are within the Asawase constituency, specifically at the hotel line. The registration exercise is being done in the phases. So for this time around, the hotel line phase is the one that is underway for now. But there are 14 registration centers over here. And currently I'm here at the Malam Ladan registration 2. And over here, the registration exercise is quite slow over here. And people or the applicants have been waiting in the line for a couple of hours. You can see them frustrated, and then they are also sitting right under the scorching sun, and then they are saying that obviously the officials have been jumping the line, and then the people just come around and then they register them. So they are seriously serious. I have one of the
there's no single place. That is why I'm saying that Kamanipa don't frame it direct. Because some of them wants extra, which the woman is refusing. Yes. And maybe I was watching, let the person call me.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Nana says you're live.
Okay, sure. So you can see the line. Let me just get my back camera for you to see what is going on over here. Look at the queue over here. People have completely defied the social distance protocol. They are not following the social distance. You can see them here. You see, they are just
Nana Sensumens are there with our reports from the Ashanti region. We apologize for the poor connection there. Anas Sabit is joining us from the Bono region. Anas, so tell us where you're reporting from and what you've observed.
Daniel, I'm currently in the Techiman North constituency of the Bono East region. Earlier, I've been to the Techiman South constituency, visited some polling stations where registration was ongoing. Key amongst them, the Abaning CMB polling station A, B, and then C, also the Methodist Junior High School polling station, and also the Aboso area. There, what I observed is that all the safety protocols were being observed, with the exception of social distancing, which was a huge problem with regards to how the people were, standing all over the place. But when I moved to the Techiman North constituency, in fact, I see a lot of improvement with regards to social distancing, as the Electoral Commission officers on the ground have been able to put in place some markings between registrants, at least a meter between them in the queue, to ensure that the social distancing protocol is being observed. With regards to the provision of hand washing kits, the Veronica buckets, plus the liquid soaps, and then the tissue papers, all these are in place in all the polling or registration centers I have visited. I'm currently away from one of the polling stations, which is in Tanoboase, and I'm heading to a different place. What is being done in the Techiman North constituency is worth commendable, and I think if they are able to maintain it for now, it will go a long way to help the process. Daniel.
Thank you very much, Anas Sabit. Let's go back to the Ashanti region, to the Ejiso constituency to be specific. Ohiming has been interacting with the EC officer in charge of that constituency, Edward Jamefi.
Registration is going on. The COVID protocols are being observed, and all the people that have met at the various centers wearing their face masks, being sanitized, they are washing their hands, and in fact, all the arrangement that we put in place from the centers that I've been to, I've seen that everything is going on, and then people are also queuing to get their names into the voters' roll.
Right, let's go to Martina Bugri, who is also reporting from Tamale in the northern region. Martina, what have you observed today?
I have been visiting some of the centers, and I must say that I've visited about 7 of them I visited the Praise Be Primary Center, the ECG Gumbini, Sonia Primary, Zonal Mosque, St. Paul's, AFDOM Gumbini, and Full Village. And in all these polling centers, at least they breach some of the health protocols. Now, let's take a Full Village, for instance. Most of them were not wearing masks. Your temperature was not taken, they were not washing hands as well. It was later in the day that they started doing that. There were so many people in the queues who did not wear nose.
We'll get some more reports from Martina Bugri and elsewhere in the country, but President Akufo-Addo says it must be the collective responsibility of Ghanaians to ensure that the country has a register fit for purpose for the conduct of the December 7 presidential and parliamentary elections. Addressing the nation on Monday, June 29, 2020, ahead of the conduct of the voter registration exercise on Tuesday, June 30, the president stressed that the election on 7th December must be a Ghanaian election, not a West African election, conducted with the voter register of Ghanaians.
I urge all eligible Ghanaians, I repeat, all eligible citizens, that is Ghanaians of 18 years of age or above, and of sound mind, no matter what party they belong to, if any, to go out and register so that they can exercise their civic responsibilities on 7th December to elect a government of their choice in a free, fair, peaceful, and transparent election. Using your God-given and constitutional rights costs nothing, but staying home can come at a very steep price. The pandemic notwithstanding, we have to strengthen Ghanaian democracy. It must be our collective duty to ensure that we have a register that is fit for purpose in December. And we must all make sure that persons who do not meet the requirements as set out clearly in the Constitution do not find their names into the register. If you aid the registration of an ineligible person and you are caught, you will face the full rigors of the law. The election on 7th December must be a Ghanaian election, not a West African election, conducted with a register of Ghanaian voters. That is the only way the true will of the Ghanaian people can manifest. It is crucial that both the registration exercise and the electoral process itself be conducted in an atmosphere of peace and security, devoid of intimidation and violence. 8 in the Volta region, 72 in the OT region, 69 in the Upper West region, 64 in Bruno region, 21 in Savannah region, and 14 in the Western region. Let me state, without any form of equivocation, that these deployments are not in any way intended to prevent or prevent Ghanaians from registering to vote in December. They are there for their express purpose, which is to guard our borders. That is the limit of their remit, and they will not be permitted to stay beyond that remit. I'm fully aware, like the military commanders, of the sensitivity of their deployments at this position in our history. And I'm confident that that sensitivity will be fully respected. I have no interest in disenfranchising any eligible Ghanaian from registering in tomorrow's exercise, nor am I interested in any improper machinations to win any election. I've spent my life fighting for free democratic institutions in our country, and I'll continue in that fight for the rest of my life. The idea of being a president who emerges from a rigged election is abhorrent to every fiber of my being. I want to continue to be the president of a Ghanaian people who have given me their free consent with the blessing of the Almighty.